So as we get to the final couple months of the year into Q4, thought I would update my EDC just because I've got Tech September, Techtober coming up, so much traveling, a lot of new tech incoming. This is the stuff that I've used for most of the year so far. We'll start off with, my everyday carry little bag. A lot of this stuff is small, compact, fits into this little guy. It's a grams 28 sling. It's a bit on the pricier end since it is a premium leather. When you use something like every single day, the ease of just wiping off leather becomes pretty apparent. So if you go for something like a nylon, like some sort of fabric that collects dirt, this thing you can literally just have like a damp cloth and wipe it down. On the inside, it has enough room to carry your essentials, plus it has extra little compartments to kind of divide it. So you can either have it kind of locked away underneath your arm to keep it protected, or if you want to go a bit hype beast, a bit millennial, you can wear it in the front to access. And obviously the things that go inside, probably the first one, part of everyone's EDC, is a smartphone. So since the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6, Z Flip 6 launch, I've been using the Flip 6, to be honest. So I think this is actually the better of the two devices in terms of the upgrades, and all the Samsung gear that you see here, you can actually pick up at Best Buy. I did go like Team Samsung for a lot of my accessories as well. What's nice, it still has a large front cover display, which you can swipe between all the different preset widgets on it. But the big thing here is the camera improvement. So this is now a 50 megapixel sensor. So it's now the same flagship camera found across the entire lineup, like the Fold 6, like the S24 Ultra. You're getting the best camera experience, and since this is so compact, you can just easily fit it into your day pack, into your pocket. It doesn't have like a weird aspect ratio like the Fold. It just works, and I kind of have a soft spot for the Flip as, I'm a 90s kid. Like, I grew up in the 90s doing like the good old flip open, answering it, and then when you're done, you just kind of snap it shut like a boss. For my smartwatch, just to keep everything working in the same place, I've gone for the new Galaxy Watch Ultra. Once again, have used this since launch. I've had it since Paris. It is an absolute beast. I'm a big fan because, if you can't tell, I am huge into the color orange. This obviously has that orange rubber band. The biggest part of it obviously is the display, so 1.5 inches, and I like the design form factor of it. So it obviously still has like that iconic circular look of a watch, but still has like the rectangular or square cutout around it. It's made of titanium, so it's premium, and it has a really good battery life. Typically I have to charge mine like every 2 days, but it does have a battery saving mode where you can select that, and it should last around like 100 hours. So in case I go on trips, I do forget the charger sometimes, it should last a couple days usage without it draining. And the last thing to complete the set, the one ring to rule them all, Lord of the Rings reference, is the new Galaxy ring. This has probably been my favorite product Samsung has come out with, because if you're not a fan of smartwatches, if you just like to have something a bit smaller, the ring is super dope since it still tracks things like steps, like sleep quality. You can have a little activity tracker, still view all of the info off of your smartphone, and it just comes, like I said, in a smaller form factor, which I think is really great. And just like any sort of ecosystem, once you have all the same products within it, they just kind of work the best with each other, which is super dope. So next, moving on to a pair of earbuds. Honestly, I've just kept it super budget. I know some of the stuff is a bit on the pricier end. So these are just the Beats Solo Buds. Once again, I kind of went for these being a 90s kid, that transparent tech like we used to rock Game Boys back in the day. That's what definitely caught my eye. These are only $70, so definitely on the budget side, and they're great because I always lose like earbuds. They're easy enough to replace. They've got decent enough sound quality. One thing to note, they are not active noise canceling, and this case doesn't actually charge them. You still need to plug them in via USB-C, but you still have a couple days usage out of the earbuds, obviously depending how long you use them. Okay, so for cameras, being a content creator, I'm gonna give you two options. One is the one that actually fits into the EDC pack. It can even fit into your pocket. This is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. This is probably the best and smallest form factor camera if you're into content creation. So it's super easy to use. You can literally power it on by flipping the screen, and you can see how it just powers up. It comes with this little gimbal style camera, which you can kind of adjust. And the best part, if you're shooting in portrait, you can flip the screen to portrait orientation just by flipping over the screen. And like you can see, it gives you this super smooth, super fluid motion. Honestly, I would say the video quality compares to, say, something like, on the Samsung, probably even better for stabilization. And since it's so small and so compact, you can just keep this like in your pocket. A game changer, I think, for content creators. Really reduces the size of like your tech bag or your EDC. If you want to cheat and have something bigger, something that records like better quality, obviously this won't fit into that tiny sling. You'd have to carry it separately, but this is kind of like my go-to small-ish vlogging rig. It's the A7CR. It's like the Sony. I've got a couple new upgrades, the 16 to 35G Master 2. Like you just saw, I've got an ND filter and then this new little microphone that plugs in wirelessly. So it actually slots right into the hot shoe mount. And then since it has those little connectors, you don't need a wire. And the best thing for vlogging, it actually has different orientations for the microphone. So even if you're behind it, it picks up that wave pattern, and obviously it still picks up all the audio coming from the front. So pick your poison on the size. Obviously the Pocket 3 is way smaller, hence the name, Pocket fits into one. But if you want something with a bit better quality, / a lot better quality, go for the Sony. Size versus performance, it's like always the battle. But the size, it's how you use it. So audio, you can use that little Sony like I mentioned, or you can do this little hack. So this is the DJI Mic 2. It comes in this little carrying case, which it has the standalone receiver. It's got the microphones obviously as well. But what's really dope about these, you can actually leave this at home. You can actually use the microphone separately because it has this little record button. So right now we're actually recording live with the mic. You can plug this in later to your computer, to wherever you're editing. You can sync that audio in post, and then you only have to travel around with this small little microphone. You don't need to carry around the case. It has onboard storage. I'm trying to remember like the storage capacity. I've recorded a couple clips already. You can hear the audio. We'll switch to it now. And this doesn't even need to fit in your day pack. Like this can fit into your pocket. It is tiny and it's so good. Moving on to the next little micro thing. See, this episode is all around just being slim and compact. So this is the Lexar SL500. This has 4 terabytes of storage, which I think is super nuts for how slim this is. So if you're connecting this to say, you know, your Samsung Galaxy phone, into your laptop, whatever you're recording footage with, you can store separately on this. So once you're back, you know, at home, at the studio, wherever you want to offload footage, you can just plug this in via USB-C. It is honestly a game changer how much size fits onto this. Never again buy a larger storage size for your laptop. Just get a couple of these. These are like $300, $400 for 4 terabytes. As reference, most laptop OEMs like Apple, I'm looking at you, will charge for 4 terabytes like $2,000. That is insane. Never spend that money. Just get small little hard drives like this. Next off, power bank, pretty budget. It just juices up all of my gear. It plugs in via USB-C. I know that it has some archaic USB-A ports. I literally just use the one cable since all my stuff is USB-C. This thing is 10,000 milliamps. It even has a screen. It's cheap, it's budget, it works. Simple. And to end off the episode, part of every EDC, you gotta have a wallet, keys, and I always carry a pair of shades. So for the wallet, this is actually my first little upgrade. Spoiled myself when I was at the Samsung launch. I was in Paris, hit up the Goyard store. Would not recommend you drop money for it. It was just a little treat to myself because I'm an Orange fan. It's actually a lot cheaper in Paris. That's where they're made. You show your passport, you get like 20% off for VAT. It's their tax. Pair of shades, once again, do not judge. I actually have partnered with Harry Rosen. If you're like Canadian, it's a men's like premium clothing store. So a lot of my fits actually, I like picked up this sweater from there. I picked up these super fancy Tom Ford shades. Once again, no biggie. All my fits that I've posted lately, like on Insta, just kind of part of my lifestyle game. I'll leave my like link of all the items. Super fortunate to have that hookup. And keys are probably my last one. It's something that still hasn't been replaced. I know that like smart locks are becoming more of a thing, but for example, for my studio, for my house, I still have a pair. And keys car-wise, I actually am driving a new Audi. It's the SQ8 e-tron. It's like my first like fully electric vehicle. As my house kind of slowly finishes up, I can just kind of test it out, charge it, and I actually am using it since it has such a large back or a storage to move some of my stuff from my studio, from my home to the new place. It has been super dope so far. I can already see the #1 comment saying a lot of the things are pricey. I tried to include some budget items like that power bank, like the headphones, like even like my keychain. Like this is honestly like my favorite keychain. I was actually just in Berlin for IFA. I visited like a Haribo store. They have an official store. I got a keychain in orange, obviously, with a Haribo name. Like I'm a kid in a candy shop when I talk about this stuff. And you can replace the day pack, the grams 28 one, with, honestly, this is like a tote, a duffel. It cost me 30 cents in euros to get this. Everything will fit into it, and you are rocking a Haribo satchel. No one else here has this. I feel like the coolest guy walking around with it. And once again, this could be like your day pack. Let's switch to the Audi and end this video.